What's happening? It's your boy 2A Monte, and I'm coming at you today with another video. Let's get to it. Alright, so today, man, I just had something on my mind that I kind of want to speak with y'all about, right? More so, this one here is more so for the women, right? Please go get yourself a firearm, alright? There's been multiple cases that have taken place throughout the years where a woman might have been shopping, being followed while shopping in the parking lot of somewhere, and notice that it's multiple guys that's kind of, surrounding them a little bit. I know people personally who this have happened to, and when I think about that, I can't help but push the narrative like you need a firearm. If your state requires you to get a permit, or if your state has like constitutional carry, such as Georgia or Texas, I believe at this point, please take advantage of that. Also, don't worry about being afraid of the firearm and things like that, because you could go to your local gun range and you could get some help. Sometimes they have, for the most part, there's instructors there that don't mind helping you. Sometimes you may have to pay a little money for courses. I know some ranges, they have like a night through the week for ladies to help them shoot or allow them to shoot. Different benefits like that. But please take advantage of that. All right. It's not a game, right? I knew somebody, she was in a major store's parking lot. I'm gonna say that, right? And pretty much she had a younger baby, like car seat size, like a newborn. And she was going to put the baby in the car seat when she noticed a couple guys pretty much like circling her, right? So she was able to hit her horn and stuff like that. But long story short, she did not have any protection. All right, get you a firearm, or get you some mace, something. You need something other than yourself, just trying to fight them off with your hands or whatever. Of course you could do that, but for the most part, if it's two grown men trying to attack you, right? Let's be realistic, because there are some women that are stronger than men, but two men is gonna be pushing it, right? So to even the playing field, you definitely get you a firearm, and that'll help, at least your chances will be a lot higher making it home safely. All right. And I take this stuff serious, man, because I promote it for everybody. If your state requires it, understand, first of all, it is a right that you have, to bear arms. So if your state allows, I guess my question would be to you, why don't you have one? Leave your answers in the comments. I say it again. If your state allows for you to carry and possess a firearm, why aren't you carrying it? You don't have it, right? So that's important, because basically I've had this conversation so many times, right? So basically what it comes down to is this. So I say, all right, so you scared of firearms, right? They was like, yeah, I'm terrified of them and this, that, and the other, right? So I say, okay. I say, that's what a person that wants to harm you, that's exactly what they want you to be. That mindset, you're easier target for them. All right. Now, granted, yes, you can always call 911. I got it. But sometimes it take a few minutes for them to arrive for something that take a few seconds to happen. You see what I'm saying? So it can, do you really want to be on the phone giving out all the information, and while you're trying to get the police here, damage has been done already? You know what I'm saying? So you definitely want to be your first, you want to protect yourself first. I'm going to say that. So when the police do get there, hopefully the situation hasn't escalated any further, and then you could get some assistance or whatnot. But first of all, please get you a firearm. I cannot stress that enough. Get you a firearm. Get trained on that firearm. Constantly go to the range with that firearm that you're gonna be carrying, right? It only makes sense to hit the gun range with the firearm that you're gonna be carrying on your person. I do this too, right? For example, like when I go to the gun range, I take multiple different guns, right? Of course, I'm not carrying every single gun that I take. However, my EDC, which means everyday carry, I always have on me at the gun range, right? While I'm shooting other things, whatever firearms I bring or whatever, all right? But that's extremely important. And I do always at least try to shoot at least 1 or 2 magazines, even if I'm shooting other firearms. My purpose in showing up to that range is to shoot those other firearms. I still at least run 1 or 2 magazines through what I'm carrying, like my everyday carry firearm. I can't stress enough though, man. Like I know I've said this, but please get protected. Ladies, go get you a firearm. Do what you need to do to get you a firearm. Don't just get the firearm. Go get training on it. Understand how to safely handle a firearm. Understand how to clear if it's around in the chamber. Clear the firearm to make sure it's safe. Understand the proper steps to doing that. All right? And I do have a video on my channel that you can look at on how to properly load and unload a firearm. I do have that, so you can go check that video out. We have to be mindful of the type of environment that we're living in now, right? You know, even for the men, you know what, I'll bring the men up in this as well, right? Because it's not only for the ladies, but I stress big time to the ladies, because I feel like people kind of think that y'all don't carry when there's a lot of women out here that carry and know what they doing. You know what I'm saying? Which I love to see the women carrying. I love to see the women in 2A exercising their rights, going to the range, shooting their targets, getting better as they go. Now, men, why don't you have a firearm? If your state allows you to. Outside of that, let's say your state does allow you to have a firearm, right? Why don't you have one? Why aren't you training? Do you know how to clean your firearm? That goes for anybody, right? Because what tends to happen a lot is there's a lot of people who go purchase a firearm, right? They get it. They may have that gun for 6 months, right? They probably took it to the gun range once or twice, maybe that, but they never clean it at all. So now you're a year in and you still haven't cleaned your firearm. You still want to clean it at the least, because, you know, do you really want your firearm to dry out if you're just letting it sit in a safe or anything like that? Speaking of safe, please get you something. Like, let's say you got one firearm. You don't need a 1624 gun case. You don't need it. It's absolutely unnecessary. However, they do have smaller ones about this size. You know what I mean? You can find them in even smaller than that too. Some have like the little wristband thing as a way you can just scan it. Some pretty much like a biometric type thing. Another thing you can get is the code, where you can punch your code in. But nevertheless, there's multiple types of safes where you can comfortably secure one firearm. All right. Some of them you can do more than one, but at this point, it's just so if you only have one firearm, and let's say you have kids and things like that, you always want to ensure that you put that firearm away safely, right? Like, unfortunately, we have seen one too many times where kids get hold to a firearm and the firearm is loaded when the kids get to it. All right. So let's be very mindful of that by getting a safe. We get a safe. I personally prefer a code-based safe, and that's because at the end of the day, nobody can read what your code is in your mind unless you tell them, right? But let's say you got a key. If you got a key or a key fob or something of that nature to unlock your safe, it's too easy to go for a child to get the keys and then depending on their age, to get the key and then utilize that to open up, the safe. I just definitely want to speak with y'all today on this particular topic, man, because it's extremely important. I'm really passionate about this. Which is why I decided I want to speak on it. I've been thinking about this for the last few weeks, and I mean, now I had a little time.